It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Memorial Day weekend begins, and a record 45.1 million people are expected to travel between yesterday and Monday, breaking the 2005 holiday weekend record of 44 million travelers. So I guess a fewer percentage of us will be traveling then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, fewer percentage.
Right.
But 45.1 million, the majority in their gas-powered cars. It will be their gas-powered cars that they will be going over the river and through. Oh, wait, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no.
Of those travelers, more than 38 million are expected to hit the road. It is the highest number of Memorial Day drivers that AAA has ever recorded. Well, you haven't recorded anybody yet. They haven't gone on the road. You can't record them if it hasn't happened yet.
You can't pre-record them?
Airports are also bracing for the holiday rush. More than 3.5 million people are expected to fly this weekend, a 2% increase from last year, according to AAA. The TSA said it's preparing for one of its busiest weekends of the year, with travel expected to peak on Thursday. Wow.
Okay.
Nearly 54,000 flights were scheduled nationwide yesterday. As of May 7th, real ID or a passport is required for domestic flights. Where was I seeing it that I don't want to give out this information because it may be false, but somebody was saying, well, they're not really enforcing. I don't know that's the case.
Yeah.
That, because somebody said that on some network the other day. And I'm like, where are you getting your information from? That come directly from the TSA? We know they're changing on batteries for carry-on.
Right, yeah.
There's been a new one for that. I used to bring my before they had, the USB cables everywhere. I used to bring my big battery. I had a big lithium-ion battery that I brought in. Probably, I think the one I brought on was 28,000. Was it 28,000 milliwatts? Now they don't want you to have what? Over 100?
Is it 100? Yeah. All right. I don't carry one of them.
I carry I carried the credit card size one.
Right.
And they've not stopped me, and I flew in May already. So they said all these changes happen. I flew after May 7th. So and they didn't even notice it. And then I've got a couple of portable speakers that I bring with me, and they've got batteries in them, but apparently they don't.
Yeah, maybe they're not that powerful.
Yeah, they last a while.
Yeah.
Just love this. Is like this is NBC News. Let's talk to the stupid people now. We talked to a junior who was at New York Airport, who's a college student, who said preparation is key for a busy travel weekend. Don't wait until the last minute to pack.
Yeah.
Wear your pants.
Remember, wear pants. Wear the TSA that cares.
Make sure you have enough time to check in and go through TSA.
5 minutes is enough, right? That's plenty. That gives me like 4 extra minutes.
Now, see, since I fly all the time, I get to see the people that don't fly all the time, and it does get to be quite entertaining as long as they're not holding me up.
Well, yeah, and the time to protest, not being able to bring your own gallon of bourbon on board the flight is not there. Write your congressman.
I didn't know. It's because they came out with the new TSA stuff, or I guess updated TSA stuff, and I was reading it. No liquor can you bring on the carry-on
right.
that is over 70 proof.
Right. Yeah.
I went, I didn't know that.
Right. What if you make your own?
But you can't drink it.
Mm.
You can't
Right.
drink. You can't drink
Right.
anything. You can only drink the airline's alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring it.
You can only drink what you pay for, or not, or what your benefits pay for.
But I guess it has to be under 3 ounces, so it has to be one of the mini. You're allowed to bring the mini bottles, and if you can get them at, I guess liquor stores sell those, don't they? You get the mini bottles,
right?
And
I guess, yeah.
And then sneak in the drink when nobody's looking.
Well, the thing is can you not go sober for 3 hours?
Well, yeah, but not flying.
Right. You don't mean on the plane, do you? Yeah.
Then they had in NBC News, I just love how they write this. They went to the people they interviewed. They're not even giving the advice. They go to the people that are traveling to give you the advice. Mm-hmm. Wanda offered some travel advice.
No?
Do all your check-ins and all your everything that you need to do online on your phone. Whatever you can do to make it smoother yourself. Mm-hmm. Because the airlines are sometimes short. We get frustrated, but everybody has to get where they're going. Blah, 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 blah. And finally, Wanda said, be kind to each other.
I don't think I've ever issued travel advice, but I'm going to do it now. Stay home. Stay out of my way. Stay out of the trucker's way if you're driving. Stay home. Your home is fine. In fact, you chose it. It's probably your favorite place to be. Stay there. We're the station that cares.
The last plane I was on, we landed in Dallas, and we're definitely short of the gate, and the plane was late, so people had, and it so it didn't stop. I mean, they didn't ring the little bing bing bell that rings at the end,
right?
That tells you to get up. It didn't happen. It's like 20 people walking to the front of the plane.
Yeah,
I'm looking. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
Oh.
Sit down.
Did they ever get yelled at by the flight attendants?
Yeah.
It was like, no, you can't do this.
Well,
and then all of a sudden, the most friendly flight attendant ever, oh, hello, good to see you. Announcement.
Sit down.
Everybody back in their seats now.
Get down now. You don't want to be, 5 seconds ago she was, we know you have a choice when flying. Sit down now. Listen to me. Don't come up here. It's no time to come up here yet. We haven't opened the door.
And one suggestion to the airlines, since I have flown hundreds upon hundreds of times over the past really 27 years, where I've almost got 1 million miles.
Yeah.
1 million actual miles. I don't need another credit card.
Yeah, but go ahead and take the application. Here's the application. You want to change your mind? You want to change your mind?
And if you fill it out, we'll give you 60,000 miles that on a Wednesday at 4:45 a.m. and coming back on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm. We'll get you from Dallas to Fort Worth.
You will give you enough points. We'll give you enough points to get from Waco to DFW.
Yeah.
If you apply for our credit card today.
Enough miles to taxi from the gate.
And put 100,000. If you put $100,000 of purchases on there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun weekend.
I'm flying next week. Shell Rotella Super Rigs coming up next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And in Georgia, it's south of Atlanta. If you're a trucker, you won't have to navigate the heavy traffic there. It's actually in Hampton, Georgia. And but you won't have to worry about the downtown Atlanta traffic. But I will be flying into Atlanta Airport, and it's consistently listed as the noisiest or the second noisiest airport. And when you go in there, you find out why. They have a lot of those little transportation vehicles, indoor transportation vehicles, and they're beeping all the time. There's so many of them. And so I'll be flying into Atlanta. Otherwise, I don't really have any issues at all.
I'm an old man with tendonitis in my right ankle. Mm-hmm. How can I just jump aboard those things as they come flying by?
I know, right? Like a trolley. Just jump on it.
But I've flown all this time. I have no idea how to get on one of those things.
Why don't they have a trolley? Man, they should have a trolley. You know,
a little trolley that goes right down the middle.
Yeah.
You jump on.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Of course, the liability issues would be huge.
You didn't say reliability. You said liability.
Liability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, reliability might also be a problem.
Yeah. Let's ask people at an airport to jump on a moving vehicle. That's a good idea, and also jump off a moving vehicle. Yeah.
When I travel a lot, I don't get into my regular workout pattern, so I actually like walking, even if the ankles work sore, which is, it's about half the time it is with the tendonitis, but I still walk anyway, just because it's like I won't get any other exercise today.
Well, if I'm traveling for work, it's usually an event, and I'm usually all 3 days are like on the ground, and you don't really sit down. Next week at Super Rigs, same thing. Rotella.com, by the way, if you want to learn more about Super Rigs, just click on Super Rigs there. I'll be there. My 25th year judging. Great event. But that's one of them. We're walking the lot, in this case, Atlanta Motor Speedway. We won't be walking the track. That'll get your steps in. We were at Texas Motor Speedway last year, but anytime you're at these events, you get it in. But if I'm traveling for vacation, I don't even want to walk at the airport because I'm like, no, I'm on vacation. I want to sit down. I don't want to get my steps in, even to walk. If we move gates, the gate moved. Well, you're going to have to take me down there because I'm not walking. But, yeah, I'm with you on that. You kind of have to find creative ways to get it in.
Over the winter, a couple times, they changed gates and terminals. It was like 3 different times where I just said, I'm going to sit and wait for 20 minutes. I'm not.
Yeah.
I was going up to the, what do they call it, the monorail at Dallas. I forgot the official name of it.
Oh, yeah. The Skylink?
The
thing?
Skylink. Yeah, Skylink.
Yeah.
I was on that thing 3 times in a half hour, going back to different terminals. And finally I said, I'm stopping. I'm waiting till a half hour before my flight takes off before I go to the next gate.
Right,
because a half hour before, they'll know.
Right,
but I was going back and forth, and it was like different terminals.
Yeah.
And even though I'm used to DFW, whenever I take somebody there or pick somebody up, they're always amazed. They're like, you're not even thinking, how do you know where you're going? I've been here hundreds of times. You finally figure it out. And once you figure it out, it's a very easy airport to get around.
Yeah.
Very easy.
If not for the constant construction.
Oh, my.
Yeah. It would be even easier. Yeah.
Well, you think about it, DFW is a microcosm for Dallas.
Yeah, the airport really is. There's a lot of construction. There's a lot of people. It's always busy. And you really got to kind of keep moving, or get out of the way. I mean, it really is kind of in terms of traffic, it's the same kind of thing.
An old friend of mine in radio, we're on, I used to work there at KXL in Portland, Oregon, Lars Larson. Great guy, just a great guy. We had so much fun working together. I think I told you once, you remind me a little bit of him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're different in your own
I consider that
way,
a great compliment.
but you do remind me a little bit
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I can't believe it, because I was there 97 to 2000. And all I remember is the Monica Lewinsky stuff. We never stopped laughing.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, I did the midday show. I was, what was it, 8:30 to 12 or 9 to 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And then Lars was on at noon. And you know how you do the crossover? He would come in and talk to me, then I'd come in and stay over his show.
Yeah,
There were times, and I wasn't getting paid for it. It's just, it'd be like, I'd get on there, whatever, right after 12 o'clock. Next thing you know, it's 3 in the afternoon. I'm still there. We're still laughing and talking about stuff. We had so much fun together. But I remember, this goes about 10 years ago, he came to Dallas and he said, and again, in Portland is where they're purposely, that was one of the topics when I was there, not building roads to force people on to the public transit. So they purposely don't build roads.
Yeah.
So you're going on one of the roads around Portland, and it's a late Saturday afternoon, and there's traffic jams everywhere because they purposely, but Lars was just so complimentary. He goes, I love Texas. There's construction on roads everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Well, it's interesting because the I-35 expansion project, not far from our studios, they've already opened up sections of the new expansion, which technically isn't an expansion because they also closed down the old part. So, but they are wider lanes, and they're better lanes because they're brand new. And so they've changed the exits and everything else right here in our area. And I was on it, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I first noticed it, and I was like, oh, no, this is good. This is better. It was flowing better. It doesn't always all the time if there's an accident, but it was definitely flowing better. And I think they should have the entire expansion done by sometime at 25 if man is still alive.
And then they'll have to do what? Start the next expansion
when
they finish
by
the
that
one.
time we'll be living on Mars, according to
Elon Musk.
What? What's the first thing that we have to do on Mars? Construction.
Did you see? He said he's getting out of political donations.
Yeah. Yep.
Which means he wants out of politics completely now.
When he's sending a message to the board at Tesla and the shareholders at Tesla that, okay, I did it once and, I don't think now is the right time to be doing that. And so I may be down the road, but I won't be doing that anytime in the near future. And that's a very interesting take, but I think he had to do that for the sake of the company.
866-90 Red Eye.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by Howes Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
The outlook for this year's Atlantic hurricane season.
We're predicting an above-average season once again, 2025 above average. Specifically, there's a 60% chance of above normal season, 30% chance of a near normal season, and only a 10% chance to be below normal.
National Weather Service Director Ken Graham at Thursday's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration briefing in Louisiana, held in the area most impacted by Hurricane Katrina 2 decades ago this year. Further breakdown of the number of storms projected for this season.
For the range of storms, we're calling for 13 to 19 named storms. That's when we get to 39 miles an hour when we name the storms. Of these, 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes, and that's when you get to the 74-mile-an-hour mark. And 3 to 5 is the number of major hurricanes. That's Cat 3 and above, with maximum sustained winds of 111 miles an hour or greater.
Continued ENSO-neutral climatic conditions, warmer than average ocean temperatures, and weak Atlantic wind shear are behind the hurricane forecast. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up, Liberation Day for gas-powered cars. I'd mentioned people are going to be traveling, the vast majority, in their gas-powered cars. Mm-hmm. And we'll tell you what the Senate did yesterday. What about that video that came out of the Milwaukee judge, Dugan? I mean, it's like I looked at you and said, my gosh. Does she not know that cameras are there? And you made the great point where you said
she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She thinks she's above the law. It's not a lack of self-awareness in this case. She clearly believes she is beyond the law, that it doesn't apply to her.
But she set up a follow the dots.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's exactly
connect the dots.
Yeah.
Of everything that's not follow the dots. Connect the dots to everything that she did.
Well, it's a breadcrumb trail. It's actually she used bread slices.
It shows her taking the escorting the lawyer and the suspect out the jury door.
Right.
It's on camera.
Yep.
Bizarre. Just bizarre.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here. Just two other important travel tips if you're flying.
Yeah.
And you haven't flown in a while.
Okay.
Number one, I know American is doing this. I think a couple of the other airlines are now too. You can't jump group numbers anymore. You know, remember if they call, for example, group 1 and you're in group 4 and you go, well, I'll just try to sneak through. They're not going to bother me. And then you put your phone down, it beeps, and they let you go. Can't do it anymore. Now an alarm sounds. And they say, you're not in this group, you must go back. So that gets rid of what they call the gate lice, as they call them. And the other one is, and this was a first, they made the announcement, this is when I flew just a couple of weeks ago, that you can only have, your one carry-on and then a smaller bag that fits under the seat. And it doesn't matter whether you can't have, your carry-on and then two very small purses. Even if you can fit both under the seat, you can only have two things. And they were very insistent upon that. We see people that have 3 items. You can only have 2. Even if both fit under the seat, you can only have 1. That fits under the seat, and then one in the up top.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 changes I saw.
All right.
There you go. Just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah.
People didn't know.
All right.
And the other thing is, because this happened about 3 or 4 times, or when I flew 3 or 4 times ago, do not carry a 2-liter bottle of soda in your carry-on.
Right. You have to carry that in your hands.
It's like, what the
Yeah.
And the person doing it looked like that they were definitely of adult age after 9/11, and it was like a 2-liter. Who thinks somebody had a 2-liter soda pop?
Yeah.
It's like,
not allowed.
what are you doing? Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security is eliminating the student visa program at Harvard University due to pro-terrorist conduct at campus protests. Fox News has learned it's a severe consequence for what the DHS claims is Harvard's refusal to comply with its request for behavioral records of student visa holders. The administration is holding Harvard accountable for fostering violence, anti-Semitism, and coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party on its campus, said DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. It is a privilege, not a right, for universities to enroll foreign students and benefit from their higher tuition payments to help pad their multi-billion-dollar endowments. Harvard had plenty of opportunity to do the right thing. It refused. They have lost their student and exchange visitor program certification as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. Let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country. Now, they're not punishing the students necessarily.
Right.
Harvard may no longer enroll foreign students in the 2025-2026 school year, and existing foreign students must transfer to another school or lose their legal status.
Yeah.
So they could transfer to another school in the United States. I don't know what the time limit is on that. Then as a result of your brazen refusal to comply with the multiple requests to provide Department of Homeland Security pertinent information while perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students, promotes pro-Hamas rhetoric, and employs racist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, you've lost this privilege. Noem offered Harvard 72 hours to provide the information request for an opportunity to regain its visa program for the next school year. Well, that'd be 25-26, so they're giving them reprieve then. If they want it in 72 hours.
Right.
So, wow. And then after the murder of 2 Jewish students, of course, here we go on CNN with Scott Jennings. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right.
You would like to discuss the relative gatherings of anti-Semitism in this country going on over the last few months. And you want to talk about who's getting together where and what their political proclivities are. Let's talk about what's gone on all these college campuses. Let's talk about what's gone on the streets of New York City. And he is talking about the policy. He did have strong pro-Israel policies. He did take a hard line against Iran. And right now the U.S. government is constantly loosey with the football trying to deal with Hamas. The anti-Semitism problem in this country is on the left. It is not on the right.
No.
If you guys want to poo-poo what we have seen on the streets of America in the wake of October the 7th, the amount of ugly anti-Semitic people ripping down the posters of hostages. These are not Republicans ripping them down, okay? You cannot deny what we have seen in America since October the 7th, and it has only to do with one thing. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and there are people who feel like now is the time to let it out, and it is ugly.
Marjorie, Jewish
you're making a tactical argument, and everybody sitting at this table knows where the source of anti-Semitism is in this country. It is not on the right. It is not. So you're saying one person who got invited to a stupid dinner versus the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of progressive activists in the streets, that's the equivocation?
Actually, that's an insane equivocation for you. These college kids who are wrong, I have denounced those.
Well, that's your party now. Those are your people.
No,
they're trying
true.
to make the case that because what's his name, Fuentes is not a part of the administration at all,
right,
and not really a Republican conservative.
Right.
That they had dinner one time or was at a dinner with the president. They're trying to make the moral equivalent of that. The president has been extremely strong against anti-Semitism and has been pro-Israel.
Yep. But
way
his
more.
actions.
And anti-Iran way more than the last president.
Well, exactly.
Anti-Semitism is part of the identity politics that comes squarely. It's been institutionalized by the Democratic Party, and everybody knows it.
Right. And look at what was, during the Biden years. Look at the actions of any given president. Look at the actions. There's no question where the anti-Semitism lies. And what's driving the Democratic Party in part is that hatred.
Yeah.
So we don't see anybody on the left coming out saying this has to end. We want to totally disown these radicals from our party. No, they're not doing that. You see this, well, I disagree with them and blah, blah, blah. But inevitably, what is it? But I support their right to free speech.
Well, no, I support their right to free speech, and Israel is committing a genocide.
Right, yeah.
Which is false.
Right.
Completely false.
Right. Which has them, well, I don't agree with these radicals, then they espouse their own radical views.
Yeah. You see Ilhan Omar yesterday when they tried to interview her?
Right.
And she walked away. She wouldn't denounce it. And then later on, her office put out a statement denouncing it.
By the way,
but she wouldn't initially do it.
As soon as I saw this, I thought there's going to be a statement. She won't do it on camera. It'll come from her office. She's going to have to reverse it. She's going to have to try and walk it back. We know how she feels. By the way, how is that not almost instinctively? No, I don't support this. I can disagree with Benjamin Netanyahu and his politics. I can disagree with their strategy as a nation. I do not agree, and I absolutely condemn these actions the other night. How is that not? How are you not wanting, even before anybody asks you, to get that out?
Not promoting it.
Right.
It's like it has to be dragged out of you, and then you can't do it.
You walk away from it. It tells us how you actually feel.
And then probably you got some feedback from not answering the first time on social media, and you went, okay, I better pretend that I don't like this.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so there it is. Liberation Day for gas-powered vehicles. The Senate votes to end California's EV quota. Just a couple of sentences here from the Wall Street Journal. The Senate voted 51-44 yesterday to free Americans from California's electric vehicle mandate. This is a real Liberation Day, and the voters who reelected Donald Trump won't fail to notice when he signs a resolution. Feel free to rev up your engines in approval. If Governor Gavin Newsom hears it loud enough, maybe he won't sue. The Senate's move follows similar action in the House, which this month voted 246 to 164. They got Democrat votes.
Yeah.
For a resolution to rescind a federal waiver that gave a green light to California's EV mandate. The 96 Congressional Review Act lets lawmakers overturn recent regulations. The president also must sign off, so it typically happens only after a change of power. Now, under the California EV mandate, 35% of automaker sales next year are required to be zero-emission vehicles. They're only selling 13% today.
Mm-hmm.
Rising to 68% in 2030 and 100% by 2035. The Clean Air Act lets California set its own vehicle emission standards, which was meant to address a historically smoggier air. CO2 emissions from gas cars do not contribute to pollution, but the EPA under President Biden granted a waiver to bless that policy. A dozen or so other states have adopted California's rules, but automakers aren't anywhere close to meeting the quotas. In 2023, EVs made up a mere 13% of sale of traditional car makers in California, 8% in Massachusetts, and 6% in New York. Automakers warn the quotas would force them to produce fewer gas cars. Prices would almost certainly rise to offset their EV losses. The mandate would harm workers. Automakers have shed jobs as they ratchet up EV production. Michigan has lost 11,600 motor vehicle and parts jobs in the past 2 years. That explains why Michigan's Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin joined Republicans in killing the California quotas. Mr. Newsom plans to go to court in California to defend California's power to dictate what kinds of cars people drive. He's unlikely to prevail since the federal law prohibits judicial review of any determination, finding, action, or omission under the law from the executive branch. So there you go. Well, you know, everything here, even Trump with Harvard. Yeah. Everybody's going to sue. He wants it to go to court. He wants everything to go to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
You know why for Harvard, too? Because if they sue, if they don't abide and get the information 72 hours, if they sue, discovery.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm guessing the administration is betting that Harvard doesn't want the discovery.
I think that's the case. And if you look at every move by this administration, or most moves by this administration when it comes to things like this, it is, okay, let's get it to the courts. Let's get it to the point where everybody can find the truth and all of it can come out. You know, it's one thing for these administrations at these schools, these administrators at these schools to come out and say, well, we believe in blah, 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 but what's actually going on? If public money is going into these schools and is going to continue to go into these schools, then the public has an interest and should know the truth as to how they're being run, who's running them, and what their goal is ultimately. Is it to churn out a greater number of radicals along the way, or is it really education? Well, I think we know what the answer is right now.
866-90-RED-EYE.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. You know that the weird Supreme Court decision yesterday was the 4-4 draw on the charter, the publicly funded charter school in Oklahoma. But there's no comment on it because you don't know who voted which way, and you don't know the reasons.
There's no opinions or anything. We have no idea. Have no idea.
I'm going to guess that's probably not the way that most people would like to see the Supreme Court work on an issue like that.
Right.
Explain it. Now, it only applies to Oklahoma.
Right.
So it's not any type of final decision, more looks like an emergency kind of decision, but still, you got nothing.
Right.
And wondering,
bizarre.
You know, there were speculation as to Barrett and why she recused herself, that, some type of professional relationship with somebody that was at the school at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like that was one where I went,
well,
you shrug your shoulders. I don't know where to go on it because I don't know how they ruled or what they ruled on.
Right. Well, and, a religious-based charter school and that kind of, that idea basically in the public realm, as opposed to, but it's related to the voucher program or the voucher approach. And I know in Texas, I don't know where it's at right now, but the idea is to give parents a choice as to where they want to send their kids to school. Because if you look at and say basically, well, the public money can't go to this religious school in Oklahoma. Well, what is the public money? So you have to ask that question. But really, we have nothing to go on.
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.